All right, Kevin. I'm showing that we're at a couple minutes after 1, so I think we're probably safe to go ahead and get started. For those of you who are watching, great. Thanks to our, I think it's the 4th edition of our Lunch and Learn sessions. So these are kind of learning sessions for us as well as hopefully for you. We try and pick a topic every couple of weeks, and we try and do one session that's online, up close and personal. Hey, Mike.
Hey.
And then we're trying to do the second session a week later online so that we can involve our adjunct faculty or people who didn't get a chance to be there in person the first week. We switch campuses every other week. So we'll switch from the Arizona campus to the Kirksville campus and then repeat the second session, so that there are 2 weeks of sessions with the same topic, the online version and the up close and personal live version. So our topic for this week is the cloud. And the cloud can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. So we're going to kind of take it from a little bit more of a consumer standpoint, since that's hopefully the way that you guys are thinking about it too. We've got one of our KCOM students who's agreed to kind of facilitate the conversation, and really we like these to be more of a conversation. So I know it's a little bit tough when you're just watching the broadcast, but use the event stream or the YouTube comments area, and we'll try and include your questions and comments in there. Or if you want, send me a note, and we'll invite you right into the Hangout, where we're only limited to 9 people here. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Kevin. So Kevin, wave.
Hi, guys.
So that's Kevin, and then next to him is another KCOM student who's also involved. Both of these guys have been heavily involved in the iPad initiative, and that's part of the reason that they're looking at the cloud apps a lot as well. So Michael.
Hello.
And then also in our stream we've got Scott Levy from our Arizona campus, who's on the help desk there.
Hello.
So go ahead, Kevin, kick it off.
All right. Well, first, I guess just as an introduction to the cloud, I just want to kind of simplify and define what the cloud is. The cloud is an interesting term, and like Brian said, it can mean different things to different people. Mostly for what we do and as students and as faculty around, it's just a term that people kind of lump everything that has to do with internet storage into. So iCloud, whenever you hear people talking about cloud and cloud computing and iCloud and all these different terms for it, it's really just a term for online storage, whether you're storing files or movies, documents. And many of you have probably already used some form of cloud storage, whether it be Google Docs or Dropbox or things like that. So we're just going to kind of go over some of the different applications and the different uses of cloud storage, internet storage, to kind of clear up some of that confusion. Just somebody came up with a term, and now it's confused everyone. If everyone just said it was internet storage, people would probably catch on to it a little bit better. There are a wide variety of services that involve free online storage. One of the ones that's been around the longest is Dropbox, and I'm going to show a little bit of that. Google Docs has been around for a while. They allow you to do documents and presentations and spreadsheets, and they save it on your internet storage through Google. But Google has also recently come out with an application called Google Drive, which is very similar to Dropbox. You can save and store files in your Google Drive account. Amazon has an application. Apple devices use a cloud storage called iCloud. They get real creative over there with their naming. And different applications have different features. Some of them have streaming, so you can store your music in it and stream it through the internet. Some of them have automatic backups, like the Apple devices. Your phone and your iPad or whatever can automatically back up to it. So we'll kind of highlight some of those as we go on. And like Brian said, if you have any questions, either throw it into the chat or a comment on the YouTube feed or message Brian, and we'll get those questions answered through this. But I'm just going to start off. I'm going to quickly sign into my Dropbox here, and then I'll do a screen share just to show you what Dropbox.com looks like. And Dropbox is something that I've found particularly useful as a student because I can save different files, different videos, different notes, different really anything into your Dropbox and access it from any device that's connected to the internet. So that's become pretty useful to me as a student. A lot of times I'll have my notes automatically sync from my iPad to my Dropbox, and then if I need to print something off from a computer or I'm away from my iPad or something, I still have access to all those files. So now that I've got that screen share set up, I'll sign into my Dropbox. Here it is. This is my Dropbox account right here. You can see a couple of different files that I've already saved into it. The menu here is pretty simple, and there's a lot of good features about Dropbox. First of all, it's a free account that you sign up for. When you sign up, they give you 2 gigabytes of free storage, but then they also give you an option. You can see I have camera uploads here. They give you an option to install a plugin into your Dropbox that whenever you plug in a camera device, whether it's a phone or an iPad or your digital camera, it automatically uploads your photos. And as those photos take up space, they reward you with additional space. So you can actually get up to 5 gigabytes total for free within Dropbox if you sign up for this camera uploads thing. And then if you invite other people to join Dropbox and they reference you as a source to joining the account, you can get even another 3 gigabytes of space. So you can get up to, I think, about 8 gigabytes of free space, free internet storage through Dropbox, which might take a little bit of time and some people that you're referring, but it's a good amount of storage for free, and it works really nice. So here you can see the menu. You can upload files. You can organize things. You can even share a folder. So say I wanted to share my camera uploads with a friend. I could click on this and then click on camera uploads, and all I need to do is type in an email address, and then the person that has access to that email address would also be able to find access to those files that are saved in that folder. That becomes useful for students, especially that are sharing resources. Hey, I typed up this study guide, and if you want to use it, instead of emailing it to you, I can just share this file. It's a big file, too big for email, so I can share this file with you by sharing my Dropbox folder. A lot of students use Dropbox for things like that, and it works out pretty nice. Another really nice thing about Dropbox is they allow you to download an application for your computer. It's not showing the option. It would normally be up here in the menu to download the Dropbox app to your computer, but I've already got it installed. You can see it at the top of my menu here, so it's not showing it to me on their website. But you can download an application. I'm sure it's similar on Windows computers too, where it just makes it a separate folder on your hard drive. So I can actually drag and drop files to this file folder within my hard drive, and it will automatically sync it to my Dropbox. And the reverse is true also. If I do something on my iPad and it syncs to my Dropbox, then it automatically downloads it to my computer, and I have access to that file on my computer without having to go in and download it
Hey, Kevin, do you want me to show the Windows version of how that looks?
Yeah, sure. That would be great.
So I'll screen share here. Um, and tell me when I get it. It's tough for me to monitor both sessions.
I'm seeing your screen right now, so.
Okay, so if you look down in the bottom right-hand corner here, where my icon is, there's the Dropbox. So it's in the lower right on a Windows environment as opposed to the title bar on the Mac environment. But it works the same way. If I click on here, you can see I can open the Dropbox folder, and a little bit different, but pretty much the same options from the Windows side as it is on the Mac side.
So yeah, that makes it convenient for dragging and dropping and syncing large files such as videos or really long documents that have media involved, whether it's photos or video links or anything like that. It makes it for a pretty seamless syncing and sharing environment. Dropbox is very useful, like I said, for those types of things. Real quick, I'm not really monitoring all the comments because I'm doing this screen share. Have there been questions? Are there any questions about Dropbox or things like that that you would like me to show with Dropbox, or we can start talking about other services or other uses or things like that?
I'm monitoring the event stream, and I don't see anything there, Kevin.
Okay.
Let me flip over here to the YouTube stream. No, I think we're good to go.
Okay. So another, I guess, service that uses cloud storage or online storage is iCloud through Apple. Because I can't screen share an Apple device here on my computer, I can't really show you how to set that up. We'll maybe do a YouTube video of that. But one thing that is nice about iCloud is that you can just sign into iCloud.com here on your computer and access the files that have been synced from your Apple device. Oh, did I type it in wrong? There we go. And with Apple devices, they can sync your calendar that you've set up on your Apple device, all kinds of documents. Pretty soon, here in the fall, you'll be able to access your photos and different things from this website as well. You can actually, even if you've lost your iPhone or iPad or something, do a location application to find. It'll track down where it is. But you can see here, you can access your email, your contacts behind this iCloud thing. I guess I can sign in. You can access your calendar and all your different documents from your iPad. The only problem with iCloud is, especially right now, they only give you access through the website to certain applications and certain file types. According to Apple, that's going to be continuously expanding, but because they maintain a tighter control over things, what you can access from any computer is pretty limited to certain applications and certain file types. But just as an example, the other day I spoke at a funeral for my grandfather, and my mom wanted a copy of that talk, and I didn't have my iPad with me, but I had written it on my iPad, and I was able to click on this, and if it'll come up, I was able to just email her this file quickly from the iCloud. So that's just a very brief example of some of the usefulness that that cloud storage can have. You can access your documents and things from any location, email them on, download them to a different device. So iCloud is just another much simpler, much more streamlined type of cloud storage. Another one, Brian might be able to showcase Google Drive a little bit better than me. I haven't used Google Drive very much, but from what I've understood, it's essentially the same exact thing as Dropbox except for Google style.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. So if I share my screen again, you can see that it works very similarly. Yeah, let me move my windows around again. Okay, again, down in the bottom right-hand corner, so right next to the Dropbox icon is the Google Drive icon. And it works pretty much the same way. Where you used to see on your Google navigation, so you can see I've got my email up here, and if you look on the kind of the title bar for Google navigation in the upper left, where it used to say Docs, it now says Drive. And so if I click on Drive, then it will show me all of the files that I have shared to my Google Drive. And it works the same way. I can then sync this with all of my other devices or other computers that I use, and it's just another form of cloud storage, which is nice when you move from one place to another and use different devices. You can keep your data here. Now, one thing to think about is remember that this data is stored in the cloud, since this is the cloud session. So it's not on as well as being on your individual computer, it's also on computers that exist out in the cloud, in this case in Google or Dropbox if you're using Dropbox. So you want to be a little bit cautious about what type of material you share up there. From a security standpoint, Google has all of the appropriate certifications, as I'm sure Dropbox does too, but it's still pretty early in this cloud computing game, so I would use a little bit more caution and just realize that you're saving stuff into an area that you don't necessarily have control over. But it's the same type of tool. You can see all of the different documents here within Google Drive. I can save PDF documents. You can see one of those here, as well as the traditional Google Docs. And I can save MP3s or other types of files up here as well.
Yeah, to kind of elaborate a little bit on what Brian was talking about with where your files are stored, I think the world kind of got a little bit of a scare the other day. I think it was last week when there was a storm in Virginia that knocked out one of the big data centers that kind of houses the information for Netflix and Instagram and a lot of these popular applications that people are using that are essentially cloud type storage and data centers where information is stored in a bunch of servers at a certain location and then broadcast through the internet back to different devices. A storm in Virginia knocked out that data center, and all of a sudden a lot of information and a lot of applications were unavailable and unusable. Most of these data centers are well prepared for events like that, and they have different backup systems where they can route through other data centers and things like that. But there always is a chance that something could go down and that information would be unavailable, or that something could be unsecure and information that you don't want available to other people could become available. So basically what we're saying is be prepared if there's ever an outage, and don't store your credit card numbers in Google Drive or something like that, because it's not like having it in a locked file cabinet in your house. Just a caution with those types of things and a little bit of education. I don't think it would be really necessary to demonstrate the Amazon cloud services. They all work in a very similar way. The only thing that I'll say about the Amazon service, and Apple actually has a similar service, it's called iTunes Match. But the Amazon cloud service, since Amazon is much more media-oriented, they have a service where you can upload all of your music, and I think Google Drive works this way too. You can upload all of your music and your media files and stream them from the internet. So they're not actually taking up storage space on your devices, but rather they're stored in this internet storage, and you access them through the internet and can play them and listen to them when you have an internet connection. So in brief, basically what the cloud is, it's like having an external hard drive or a flash drive, but it's on the internet. So you can upload and download things to this little flash drive in the internet and store things there, but also access them whenever you want. You can download it from any device that you want. You can sync from several devices to one location so that your information is uniform across different platforms. You can share files and share folders, and it makes it, especially when you're collaborating with big groups or across distances, it can make it a pretty streamlined process. I can't really...
Sorry, Kevin. I was just going to say, I think you point out what some of the big benefits are is that the data storage isn't local, so that's both a concern, but it's also a benefit in that it kind of replaces the need to do backups for a lot of at least consumer-level information, and then it's device independent. So for a lot of these tools, you can get the content that you share up to the cloud on any device, whether it's an iPad, an Android phone, a Mac laptop, a Windows workstation, and so there's some real benefits to it from that standpoint. Most of the processing then, too, takes place over the internet. So we're talking mostly about storage, but there are some other components of the cloud that will offset your processing capabilities.
Yeah. I can't really think of anything else that needs demonstrating. They all work in a similar way. A lot of them have drag and drop applications where you can drag files into a folder and it uploads and syncs. Others have upload and download buttons where you go kind of the traditional route and select files through your file trees. So I can't really think of a whole lot else to demonstrate on this, but we'd be happy to answer any questions or anything.
Mike, did you want to make your comment on the Dropbox thing? I think you're on mute. You'll have to unmute yourself.
No, I just wanted to add that at least on Dropbox, if you accidentally delete anything or if something like that happens and you lose something, Dropbox keeps a 30-day history of those applications, so you can go back and Dropbox will undelete those applications. I'm not sure if Google Drive has that yet or not, but that is one thing that Dropbox does that's pretty neat, because sometimes we accidentally delete something off of our Dropbox folder on our hard drive and then it gets deleted on Dropbox and then we didn't mean to. It works as sort of an undelete for at least 30 days, which is nice.
Now Brian's muted.
Yep, yeah, Brian got muted.
Sorry. I was going to suggest one thing that you guys might want to talk about a little bit is with the iPad initiative, how you guys are taking your notes in Notability and then uploading those to Google or to Dropbox so that you've got a history of them.
Right. So with the iPads work really seamlessly with Dropbox. A lot of the applications within when the developer develops the application, they'll kind of write Dropbox into their application. So when you have, say, a note-taking application, you can sync it with your Dropbox, and you sign into your Dropbox within the application. Then any file that you create or edit or do anything on within that application gets saved to Dropbox. This works really nicely for notes. when you download a notes packet and then write all over it or type all over it or put in pictures or do anything that you want with it, then when you exit that application, everything automatically syncs to Dropbox. And if you have these applications installed on your computer and things, the Dropbox application, I mean, then it automatically downloads to your computer. It's on multiple devices, and you can access it either through Dropbox or through your devices anytime, any place. I've had several instances where I've been at school and taken notes, and my iPad battery dies, and I forget to bring the power cord or something, and now I need to run to a computer to print something off or to keep studying or something, and I can just sign into Dropbox and access my notes that still have all of my annotations and all my notes that I've taken during class, and it's all still right there, and I can just automatically and simply access everything that I've done. So it kind of gives you a backup and gives you more accessibility to things that you're doing throughout the day. And like I said, a lot of applications with the iPad and things will automatically sync to your Dropbox and things like that.
Cool. Are you guys seeing any faculty using cloud apps to share information with the class, or are students using it amongst themselves to share information with other students?
Students often use it amongst themselves to share study guides, to share stuff that they've found on the internet that has helped them in classes. They'll just, the students kind of make their own study groups with their friends or whoever they study with, and they'll just create a group folder within a Dropbox or whatever, and then anything that anybody in that group uploads to that folder, the whole rest of the group can see it and have access to it as well. So people share notes, people share study guides, people share all kinds of things through that sharing option in Dropbox quite often. I know students do that. So far, faculty and professors haven't really started to do that a whole lot. They use a lot more of the Blackboard for accessibility and stuff like that, which is fine. But
there are a few that are familiar with it, at least. I know Dr. Sexton, for one, and Dr. Bear use it within their own student circles to share lab information in the master's program, etc. I think Dropbox is a brand that's just becoming sort of one of those slowly becoming household names, and as faculty learn about it and how easy it is to use it, they use it more and more. And so I know there's at least a few out there that know how to use it, and the ones that learn about it seem to adapt to it really easily, and they'll share folders with students in their labs or among themselves and to collaborate. So
sure, and
I
know there's at least a few faculty who are using Google Docs the same way.
Right.
And because that one's embedded with some of the other tools, it becomes a little bit easier to navigate there. You don't have to download another client and install it.
Yeah, so Google Docs, people have been using Google Docs. I mean, it's almost hard to remember that Google Docs and now it's Google Drive is a form of cloud because it's kind of become its own entity. It's so commonly used and so widely spread throughout our curriculum and things. People do Excel sign-up sheets and study guides, and Google Docs and Google Drive are very, very widely used through students and faculty as well.
One other cloud tool that I was going to bring up is Evernote. I don't know if you guys have used Evernote. It's probably an older cloud app than Google Docs or Google Drive or Dropbox, but it's one of the first ones that existed where you can actually take a picture of something that would have text on it, and it will automatically do the optical character recognition, and then you can search that information. So, for example, if I had a picture that I took and uploaded to an Evernote account, which is another form of a cloud-based storage solution, and someone's T-shirt who was in the picture said something about ATSU, the picture would actually recognize that, and when I went into my Evernote and did a search for anything ATSU, it would actually bring up that picture. So that gives you a sense of the power. I talked a little bit earlier that it's not just storage. There's some processing that can go on behind the scenes, and that's a good example of some processing that happens behind the scenes when you're using some of these cloud applications. Yeah. Face recognition on pictures is another example, same kind of thing.
Yeah, and that's continually expanding. I know iCloud, the Apple thing, is starting to get big into face recognition. You'll be able to just go into what they call your photo stream and type in someone's name, and it'll bring up all the pictures with that person's face in it and stuff like that. But yeah, so there is a lot of application that way. I've heard of Evernote. As far as note-taking in classes, Evernote isn't quite as, it doesn't cover all the bases quite as easily as some of these other applications. It's great for things that you're doing kind of freelance, if you're just making a journal or kind of creating things on your own. But if you're, I think it would be difficult to kind of use it as a note-taking program. But for things like personal things, Evernote's pretty awesome. And they've got applications on all different platforms and things like that.
I'm going to go back and put in a little plug for anyone who's in the stream. And just so you guys know, I can see now that we've got 15 people who are viewing. So there are people that are out there. If you would, just put a comment in the comment stream, whether you're watching on YouTube or whether you're watching on the event stream itself within Google+. Just to kind of get comfortable with that. Let us know who's out there watching and give us some sense of, is this too much technical talk? Do you want us to, for lack of a better term, dumb it down a little bit more? Are we not giving enough information? Do you want us to take it up a notch? Kind of give us some feedback on whether these are useful tools and hints to give to people, or whether we need to actually go into more detail. That'd be great. So JT just joined us. JT is the second person on my thumbnail, so just wave, JT. And he's another person who works on the help desk out in Arizona. So we've got a couple guys from Arizona. Kevin said that he was in Utah. So he's joining us from Utah on break right now. And Mike, did I hear you're in Utah too?
Yep, I'm here visiting family in Utah. So
nice. Anything else that someone would like to hear or talk about? Other apps? Scott, can I pick on you a little bit? Why don't you talk a little bit about video conferencing and how much we're using video conferencing? And certainly this is one example of how we could use video conferencing in the cloud as opposed to like using a life-size unit or a Polycom unit. But you might talk a little bit about that.
Sure. Yeah, video conferencing has been just kind of an interesting evolution, I think. It used to be very specific equipment was required to make it work. You know, we had very expensive units, and you had to have matching units on multiple campuses in order to make it happen. But things like Skype and like Google Hangouts have really made it a more accessible sort of tool. And I mean, look how easy it is for us just to hop in this Google Hangout, and you know, it's all integrated, so you know, we can share docs and apps, and really I think all those tools kind of come together. So we can upload something to Google Docs, and then we can screen share it. We can, you know, talk about a document and share it through Google Docs or through Dropbox, and it's you know, I think it's the way that everything's going to be going, especially with teaching. If you know, if someone needs to teach remotely or have a guest lecturer, you know, what a great tool.
Yeah, so I mean, you think about Skype is really another cloud-based tool in a lot of ways, and we're using more and more of these tools for things like the help desk, you know, to do remote sessions so that we can see what other people are seeing on their screens. So there's some real power there. JT, did you have anything you wanted to add?
I jumped in kind of late, so I don't know what was already covered. I think Mike sent an email out saying Dropbox it keeps 30 days of backup information in case something gets deleted. So, but yeah, I'm not really sure what I missed the first few minutes, but seems like you guys touched a lot of important areas.
Yeah, we covered Dropbox. We covered a little bit about Google Docs. Kevin addressed a lot of the other solutions that are kind of similar that are out there from Amazon, and I don't even remember what they all were, but similar solutions that are there.
Sure.
Box.net, I think, is one.
Would this be an appropriate forum to talk about Citrix?
Good, yeah. I'd throw that, at least sudo, into the cloud. It's not entirely cloud, but certainly has some application there.
Citrix is similar to the cloud in that it is an application that is run from a server. For example, in Kirksville, there's a server that basically acts as a computer that can run applications, and then you can access those applications through the internet on different devices. So, say for example, on our iPads, they don't have an application yet that lets us view or use our histology slide viewer, which is a Windows-based application. And it's they're trying to convert it into an application form, but it's taking them longer than they expected. And so there are different things that you can do to run Windows applications on a Mac, but Citrix allows a very quick solution in that we can access a slide viewer application that's running on a server at ATSU, or basically a computer at ATSU is running this application, and we can access and control it from our iPads or our phones or our computers. This works the same way with EMR apps. It works with Microsoft Office, Internet Explorer. We can load these applications into a Citrix server and then access them from other devices and run those applications on those devices that normally would not work. So that kind of goes into the category that Brian was talking about processing. You can actually run computer applications through the server and access them through the internet and control them and do things like that. Kind of going back to what was mentioned before about using this as far as screen sharing and being able to see what's going on the other person's screen, and remote help for computer problems. There are even cloud-based solutions like TeamViewer is an application where you can get on and you create a secure connection by sharing a specific username and password with someone else, and they can access your computer. Say, I need help with my computer and I have no idea how to fix the problem, and when a technical person starts talking to me, I just kind of get lost and jumbled. Well, I can create this session with them, and they can actually access my computer through the internet and do it for me and show me how to do things and explain things while they are doing it, even though we're miles apart. So yeah, it offers a lot of solutions that way. I just wanted to throw TeamViewer in as another application that's very useful.
Yeah, we use that a lot, Kevin, and I'm sure JT and Scott could talk about how much. I'm sure it's daily, probably multiple times a day that they use that.
Yeah. So.
Good. Anyone else seeing anything else in the streams? I don't see anything else here on YouTube. And a couple more people are here on the event stream. That's probably a decent place to wrap it up. Unless you guys think of anything else, I think we've kind of covered it. Talk about video, talk about the storage applications. Those are probably the ones that are most of interest to the viewers out there. If you have any questions, feel free to kind of continue the conversation in the event stream, and we'll monitor that every now and then in the Google Plus so that we can add comments there. Of course, this session will be recorded, so you can always go back and reference it, or if you get a question from someone else who says, now what's this cloud thing, feel free to point them in this direction and give them this as a tool to help define what the cloud is. So I hope it's clarified a little bit. the cloud, and there's a lot of confusion about what the cloud is, even to us as technical people. I know when Kevin and Mike and I started thinking about the cloud, they were definitely thinking more from a consumer side, and I was definitely thinking more from an IT infrastructure side. So when I think of the cloud, I think of things like Amazon servers and being able to buy processing cycles from someone else rather than us having those services here on campus. So there's still a lot of confusion, but from a user standpoint or just a consumer standpoint, the tools are really becoming a lot more mature. They're still relatively new, but I think everyone would pretty much agree that that's the direction for the future. So you will just have an application, and it won't matter what type of device you're running. You'll be able to access that application and the data that goes along with it on any device you use. Like I say, whether it's your big screen TV, whether it's your small smartphone, whether it's an iPad or an Android tablet, that's the direction and that's the power of the cloud. I want to thank Kevin and Mike for taking some time. Join us. Appreciate it, guys. You guys always do a good job, and certainly we like that student perspective, so that's great.
Thanks for having us.
Great. Thanks, everyone.
See ya.
All right, see ya.